I'd like to take a moment to let you all know about a new non-profit organization started by my brother Craig. It's called Treats and Truth. They fill oversized brown lunch bags with snack items, chips, crackers, popcorn, cookies, etc. Also, a bottle of water, toothbrush, toothpaste, sanitary wipes, and most importantly, a small gospel tract book of John. No cigar? I'll have to talk to him about that. The bags are then hand-delivered to the homeless and people in need in and around the Los Angeles area. Let's help get this ministry off the ground. They're a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, so any and all donations are tax-deductible and greatly appreciated. Visit their website at treatsandtruth.org. Check out the show notes for the link. Also, please follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Welcome to episode 63 of the Burning Bush podcast, where we share the message of the Bible while enjoying a good cigar. Hope everybody's having a good week, and glad you stopped by to listen to the podcast today. Got some dogs out in the neighborhood this afternoon, so hopefully they'll stay quiet and it won't be too much of a distraction while I'm recording this. And this week I am smoking the Southern Draw Kudzu. I'm smoking the Robusto, which is a 5.5 by 54. So let's go ahead on over to their website and check out what they have to say about this cigar. Kudzu Oscuro, our original blend cigar that invaded the South, elegant, classic, and sophisticated. Delicate, fruity, bitter tones of grapefruit, nuts, and coffee develop at the beginning. This cigar is tangy, sweetish, meaty, and delivers a nice chocolatey sweetness. Very balanced and multifaceted. Medium plus. And that is from Cigar Journal, Summer Issue 2016, Best Buy. And the wrapper is a Habano Oscuro from Ecuador. The binder is Ometepe and Nicaragua. The filler is Nicaragua and USA. And the vitolas are the Robusto, which I'm smoking, the 5.5 by 54. The Toro, 6 by 52. Gordo, 6.5 by 60. Lancero, 7.5 by 40. Perfecto, 6 by 56. And a Perfecto 5 by 58, and those last three, the Lancero and the two Perfectos, says are limited. So that is the Southern Draw Kudzu. So let's go ahead and get back into Dr. Justin Bass's book, The Bedrock of Christianity. This week we are diving into chapter 4. And the title is Chapter 4, Crucifixion. Christ died for our sins, and he was buried. The fact of Jesus' death as the consequence of crucifixion is indisputable. Gerard Ludemann, The Resurrection of Jesus. That Jesus was crucified is as sure as anything historical can ever be. John Dominic Crossan, Jesus, a Revolutionary Biography. One thing, at least, can be said with certainty about the crucifixion of Christ. It was manifestly the most famous death in history. No other death has aroused 1/100th part of the interest, or been remembered with 100th part of the intensity and concern. Malcolm Muggeridge, Jesus Rediscovered. Crucifixion was invented by the Persians, advanced by the Greeks, but perfected by the Romans. Crucifixion as a capital punishment came to an end only by the orders of the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great in the early 4th century AD, after he converted to Christianity. It is arguably the most brutal, shameful, and inhuman death penalty to ever enter the mind of humankind. Josephus referred to it as the most wretched of deaths. Josephus, Jewish War, 7.203. Among all the historical records we possess concerning crucifixion, only one person is said to have survived. Josephus, who was working for Rome at the time, tells us that the Roman general Titus sent him to a certain village called Thecoa in order to know whether it was a place fit for a camp. On his way back, he saw many captives crucified, 3 of his personal friends among them. Josephus persuaded the soldiers to take them down and give them the best medical care they could. Only one survived. Life, 420 to 421. Roman statesman and orator Cicero was also appalled at the barbarity of crucifixion, calling it a cruel and disgusting punishment and the worst extreme of the tortures inflicted upon slaves. Against Verres, 2.5.166 and 169. In fact, in a famous trial of the 1st century BC, Cicero publicly rebuked a Roman officer named Gaius Verres, who had a Roman citizen, Publius Gavius of Compsa, flogged and then crucified. Death by crucifixion was mostly reserved for slaves. Roman citizens were almost never crucified. Publius Gavius was a well-known exception. In his condemnation of Verres, Cicero's oratory reaches a climax when he says, "It is a crime to bind a Roman citizen. To flog him is an abomination. To put him to death is like murdering your own father. To crucify him, what? There is no fitting word that can possibly describe so horrible a deed." Against Verres, 2.5.170. Cicero could not find a word in his vast Latin vocabulary that could accurately describe this monstrosity. All he could say was, "What?" That'll end this week's reading, the beginning of chapter 4 of Dr. Justin Bass's book, The Bedrock of Christianity. Don't forget to check out the show notes for a link to Dr. Bass's website where you can pick up a copy of his book, or books, actually, he has a couple, and check out his YouTube page as well. And like I said last week about the books that I'm reading on here, especially with Dr. Bass's book, you really need to pick up a copy for yourself, because there are charts and graphs and things like that in the book that you just can't see when I'm reading. And actually last week I did refer to one of them, so it'd be a good idea to grab a copy of your own and just help support the guys that were reading their books on the podcast. Also, check out the link to this week's cigar, of course, the Southern Draw Kudzu, and groundworksministries.com for daily Bible studies and devotionals, and also, of course, the Burning Bush Podcast merchandise store to pick up some things to help spread the word about the show. And as always, tell your friends. So until next week, have a great day, have a great cigar, and God bless.